Keeping your team safe is always a top priority, but construction safety procedures are often messy, disjointed, and incomplete. Introducing eMod, the construction safety platform. Built by construction veterans, eMod better protects your team before danger comes their way and elevates safety where it matters most, the field. Here's how it works. When new workers join the team, make sure they understand your company's expectations, requirements, and procedures with our customizable online safety orientations. Out in the field, our pre-task planner makes it easy to plan and assign work based on current field conditions and coordination with other trades. With mobile access to your team's training certifications, you'll always assign qualified people to the right tasks and be able to submit and approve pre-task plans from anywhere. Throughout the day, eMod's Safety Audit allows anyone to identify hazards and quickly notify the right person, preventing accidents before they happen. Even when you're not on the job site, our web dashboard helps you keep tabs on safety and performance with real-time safety metrics, ensuring transparency across all jobs. Construction safety shouldn't just be a binder, a checklist, or an afterthought. Revolutionize your commitment to safety with eMod. Built for the field, by the field.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's Monday. I usually don't come to you guys on Mondays, but unless it's on the radio station. And we are streaming across all the platforms here on Safety FM, safetyfm.live, safetyfm.com, and the Safety FM app. Seeing the video that is from our sponsor, eMod. If you don't know who eMod is a platform that encompasses everything from EHS audits to superintendent checklist, everything that you need on a construction site. So go check them out, emod.com, emodsafety.com, sorry. And then what you can also do there is go into the website, let them know that Pedro sent you, and then you can nominate who your safety hero is. It's one of the things that eMod, the platform itself, does as a whole for the community. So go nominate somebody that is, leading your safety program or your charge in regards to, stepping above and beyond. So without further ado, like I said, this is our Winter Wonderland special, and who better to have on the Winter Wonderland special than Doc Martin? How are you, Dr. Martin?
I'm good, Pedro. Look at me in the non-driver's seat.
Look at that. How does that feel?
I actually like it. I'm just going to sit here and let you ask me questions.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I might even just sit here and let you tell me what I should talk about. Because
we can talk about anything.
Okay.
Here. Anything that you want to talk about. This is our show. So it's definitely good.
Oh, look at Don Kramer's here, Josh Becker.
Yes, they are ready.
These guys.
They are ready in the chat box.
They're
blowing
ready
us
to go.
Up. Good evening, friends. How are you?
Yes, please. Bring it on.
Horton, here's a who.
Oh, Horton, here's a who. Yeah, he said he's gonna be that character if everybody has to choose a Dr. Seuss character. Did you catch Nate Brayman's in my live stream this weekend or get part of it?
I did catch bits and pieces of it while I was trying to entertain and just relax and decompress and be with the family.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I was taking over the airwaves.
Hey, it's all good. Somebody has to do it.
I know. I was like, nobody's posting, nobody's talking, and one of the things that I thought was like this holiday weekend, was so long, especially like for me with little kids.
Mm-hmm.
People need a break, right? And just to kind of get up in here and just kind of chat, kind of like on the low kind of level. And I got to tell you something. Nate Brayman. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He hits me right in my Midwestern heart. And I think I got a new brother, Pedro. So move over in those bunk beds.
Nice. No, hey, one big happy family is what we are.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's what we try to do. We try to make sure that we incorporate everybody in this big snowball of EH&S safety.
Yeah.
Just being able to do those types of things and have those conversations is what makes this career great. This,
Right.
And some people say it's not a career. It's it's just a job. And if you are one of those people, and I hate to say it, and I've said it, many a times, if you're one of those people that just punches the clock day in and day out, and that's all you're there for is for a check, get the hell out of the profession, please, because it's not helping anybody when you do that.
No, I totally agree. I was thinking as I was talking about Nate, and just over the last like 3 or 4 months, I met some pretty amazing people in the profession.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that I really have learned is learn about somebody for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And don't listen to whatever everybody else is saying or what you hear through the grapevine or anything like that, and get to know people on a deep level. And I gotta say, I'm doing this thing on my show. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do it yet. It starts tomorrow, which is totally my feng shui. But I'm going to talk about favorite things, right? Favorite things of like, Pedro, I mean, what kind of safety glasses do you recommend? And what kind of fall protection have you guys had really good experiences with, or not, or bad experiences with, right? Doc's favorite things. And then I was thinking, like, what do I start with? This starts tomorrow. What do I start with? And so I'm going to start today. And I'm going to say, I'm not going to talk about a thing. I'm going to talk about people, because my life is so rich with my safety brothers and sisters right now in this time period that I got a whole long list. Some of the people are listening right now, a whole long list of favorite people. Pedro, you're one of my favorite people. I see Shane and Donald. I feel like I'm doing like I don't know if you remember the magic. What was it? The magic. What the hell was that show with the magnifying glass? Right.
Yes.
I see Pedro. I see Donald. I see Josh. Right. And then you were crushed if you didn't get your name said.
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much, I mean, everybody that I've met, and Nate's one of those people that, you hear about the legend of Redbeard, and then you get to know him, and he's that guy in front of the campfire, right? I talked again to Michael Bowman today for about an hour and a half, and I want him around my campfire, but I want all you guys around my campfire because I am so blessed. So there's my first favorite thing, not a thing, but my first favorite thing of the holidays is just the incredible people that have entered my life, even in the last 6 months. Just amazing.
So talking about people, and one of the biggest things that in the safety profession we try to do and we try to look for are mentors and people that uplift us in those crucial times where we feel like we're beat.
Yep.
Has any of the people that you come in contact with over the past 6 months became mentors in a sense, have uplifted you to greatness?
Steve says he'll be around my campfire. Absolutely, Steve, you're invited. And thanks for everybody for rallying around me. So mentors, right? I mean, I guess the way I look at a mentor, at least for me, is I didn't really have a mentor. I mean, I clawed my way up in the profession, and now everybody that I meet is a mentor. And what I'm learning now is mostly because I'm not technical like you guys. Well, I am technical like you guys, but not in the way that you guys are anymore. Boots on the ground, right? I'm teaching it, and so I rely on people like everybody that listens to you and I on the podcast and on the, like you on the radio, everybody that listens and talks to me teaches me something, because otherwise it's going to be very hard for me to stay relevant in the career. So,
Right.
but before I start mentioning specific names, that's the way I look at it now, is like I have to have everybody in my life mentoring me, or I'm going to be a shit teacher. I really am, right? Because I can't bring relevance to a classroom. Oh, Jay Ellen's here. I can't bring relevance to a classroom unless I'm listening to people who are doing it.
Right.
That being said, you're my sensei when it comes to doing the podcasting. I've become much more comfortable, and we'll see what Jay says about that. I've become much more comfortable behind the mic than I was when I was on your show with my sister.
Oh yeah, definitely. You are now, and I can say this because, again, I had the luxury and the pleasure of having you on, with your sister, and you were a little timid, a little shy, reserved, versus, your sister, and she was just, ask her something, she was bam, 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 giving us all.
That's my sister, yeah.
But it's good. And now to see the podcast and what you have going on, now that you're live streaming, that's even a plus, because now it's a different avenue that you are able to, one, learn from other people, and two, be able to, give back via video. So I think it's cool.
So, I don't think I know what I want to be when I grow up yet. So I'm looking to all kinds of mentors. I watched Jay on his show. I watch you on your show. I've been listening to more podcasts to see how people conduct their business and talk and whatnot. And so I'm learning. And, my downfall, I think, at some point is that I have a new idea every day. Right. And I can't decide what I want to be when I grow up. And I don't know if I need to decide or not. But no.
No, you don't have to decide, because, and it reminds me of the movie Divergent, right? You are not just one thing. You are, you want to be kind, you want to teach, you want to mentor, you want to podcast, you want to live stream, you want to encompass everything into, the profession, and not even on the profession, on the safety side, just being a podcaster, that right there, in itself is challenging at times. Being a live streamer, doing this via video is challenging at times, not to mention what we're doing on the back end, on the radio, and, being able to talk to people face to face. But again, Divergent, you are not solely one faction. You are a bit of everything, and that's what makes you the Lorax.
I have to find more time in my day, right? So I will say, you asked me about mentors, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, I'm just going to kiss up to Jay right now. Jay's been a mentor. You've been a mentor when it comes to podcasting. Everybody that touches my life as I do this is a mentor when it comes to the field. But what I'm really trying to work on right now is kind of the goodness in myself, because I think that I lost my way for a while. And, I mentioned I talked to Michael Bowman today for another hour and a half, and he and I are going to do a series on my show. I think we'll probably eventually take it to the live stream and then rip it to podcast. But, I love talking to people who can talk not just about safety, but talk about life and values and, strategic mission when it comes to how you're conducting yourself and how you carry yourself, etc. And, and we all fall off. So I'm learning. And so Michael Bowman, I would say, right now, the conversation that I had with Nate the other day, also very profound. I'm gaining friends by the second. And I mean, I just feel like I'm in this tremendous period of growth. And thank you to everybody that's taken a part in it, because I needed to grow.
Oh yeah, definitely. And if that is one thing that 2020 has given us, with the exception of the damn coronavirus and all the other crap that's been going on in the world, but growth and strategic growth at that. Circles got a little tighter. Um, you know, Newer friendships became even and have blossomed out of those circles getting tighter. And then not only that, like you said, the growth, the being able to connect with so many people on so many different levels, to be able to elevate your knowledge base, elevate your network base, and then, you know, just do what we like to do, and that's talk. Like, I love to talk.
Well, so that's what I'm learning too, right? So I've actually talked my wife into editing my podcast, right? So all I got to do is show up and talk, and she fixes. Something happens, and then it goes up, and it's a podcast, which is fantastic.
Well, you're
But
just lucky.
I know, right? I am, and in many respects, I am lucky. And so yeah, I mean, I've been given that gift of being able to talk to a lot of people on much deeper levels. Um, what I actually set out to accomplish, and I think when Jay and I had our initial discussion on doing a podcast, he asked me, what do you want to do? What is your goal, right? And that goal has changed 1,000 times. Originally it was, to kind of make sure everybody knew that they were kind of on a level playing field, and that whatever mix that you have of whatever certifications, experience, knowledge, etc., it's okay, because you're valued, right? The only issue I take is like with you, where if it's just a job and you're just coming to work to get a paycheck, and you don't give a crap about what's going on site, or trying to change hearts and minds, then yeah, I mean, then that's not the kind of equality I'm looking for.
Right.
So I mean, I think I've been very blessed. And I think now, I think my mission and vision is more, it's like expanding, almost like like when the universe began, and the Big Bang, or however you want to think the universe began, or believe the universe began. It's good to go. But however that happens, I feel like the Grinch, where my heart and my mind are growing 10 times the size every day.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think it's really important that we change the profession altogether, right? And that we basically give it back to the people, right? To the people that do this, to maybe not so much to me, because I've already had my chance, but to people who are doing the actual safety stuff every day, and the young people, and the people who our future belongs to, and not so much the old guys in the powdered wigs.
Yeah, no, definitely. And hitting some of the comments, Matt Lawrence, what's going on, Matt? Tanya said, man, 16-year-old should be listening to this. Thank you, Miss Tanya. Greatly appreciate that.
Miss Tanya, maybe I am a 16-year-old. Sometimes I act like one.
Scott Worth, new to safety and learning as much as possible every day. Welcome to the greatest safety profession, to the greatest profession in the world. If you need any help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Shane Oliver said, just go with the flow, Doc. I say that this is our show. Listen, whatever direction we want to take it in. And it is. It's just an open dialogue conversation. We get to chat with everybody. Jay Allen said, just don't sleep. LOL.
Yeah. Yeah. Last night I stayed up actually editing a single track until 2 a.m. just to listen to it again. And like I said, my wife usually does all of them, but I couldn't sleep. And so I just sat there and I just listened to the whole conversation again. And it was like, like I was learning things that, they came out of my mouth and came out of my guest's mouth, but I was learning things until 2 a.m. and I'm tired today.
I wonder why, Doc. Donald said, awesome to hear about the collaboration with Michael Bowman. He rocks. That he does.
He does.
Scott also says, appreciate it. I have the company I work for, high on morale, wanting to exceed every day in all aspects of safety in the field. Amen, brother. And again, that right there, you have them, high on morale. That's always good, and that helps drive your safety program. So again, if you have anything that you need help with, by any means, just please reach out. There's lots of people in the chat. There's lots of people that we know, and Dr. Linda Martin and Dr. Jay Allen, they know some people.
Yeah,
some people
Pedro,
that know people.
Pedro too. and I'll tell you something. These gentlemen in the chat here, when they got your back.
Oh yeah,
they got your back.
They got your back. Jay Allen said, "Time for a revolution." Elaborate more, sir, please. We need to hear.
What revolution?
That's what I'm talking about. What revolution?
I think he said something about tomorrow on his show. He was going to talk about some new revolution.
That's going to be awesome.
Is he gone now?
I don't know. He's here. I think he's here.
So what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, let us know your favorite things. And I'm not stealing Linda's thunder, from what she's starting, but still,
no, please do.
Let us know what you like utilizing out in the field. What's your favorite go-to, monitoring device? What's your favorite glove? What is your favorite? And it's called many different things: pre-test plan, JSA, JHA, SFEMA. What's your favorite and why?
Yeah, who's helping you out? Who's your hero? I guess I don't want to ask who's your zero. We can take that privately offline if you want to talk about who your zero.
Yeah, who the zero is? Well, let me. Some names come to mind, but not on the show right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah. This is the clean show,
clean version.
So, Donald's ready for the revolution. Attaboy. See, Donald was one of my students, so he's down for the revolution. I know Josh Becker is down for the revolution. So I feel like we're in like Les Mis or something.
Yeah. What are you doing to keep morale high? That's a good question. What are you doing, Mr. Scott, to keep morale high? What and maybe we can ask Dr. Martin. So you get to a new, and again, you're new into the profession, Granted, you have many years of experience, but just wipe all of that. You're new to the profession. How do you boost morale at a company you go to?
So, I think it's different for everybody. And I know that's a cop-out, right? I'm always like the it depends girl. But for me, how do I personally keep morale high? I keep morale high by keeping the chatter going. And by keeping the chatter going, I mean, I'm not that hover person that comes in and stands around and watches people work. And, you talked about on the show I was on with my sister, you talked about, getting your gloves out and getting in there and getting dirty and being that guy that's with the people. And for me, for morale, I use humor. I use a lot of talk about camaraderie, and that's kind of where I go with the morale. And I try to keep my head in a positive space so that I can keep other people's heads in a positive space. Because if you come to work negative, especially as a safety professional, it will sweep over a crowd of people. They can feel it, right? And just like you can feel it, like I think a lot of safety professionals are empaths in a way. a lot of good ones are, that you can walk on site and you can instantly feel what energy um, is the place that you kind of need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like is it Reiki? Right? Reiki, where you're kind of feeling the energy in somebody's body. And I know that's kind of it's kind of foofy, fluffy kind of talk, but um you know, you have to be in a positive headspace for other people to be in a positive headspace, because if you aren't, then forget about boosting anybody else's.
Oh yeah, your bad vibe. You know, you come pissed off. You have a bad conversation with a family member or a significant other, your spouse. And it happens. But if you go out and march onto the floor or out to the field with the frontline workers and put off those bad vibes, they're gonna feel that, and then their day is now turned to shit because safety guy, safety gal are now mad, putting
Yeah.
off those bad vibes, and it ends up being such a bad day. So start off your day good, you know, and even if you are pissed off, go out there, smile, leave it at the door.
Yeah.
Call one of us. We're here to talk. If you want to talk it out, I always have an open door policy. It definitely helps to vent when you need to, so that
Yeah.
way you can go and have that positive mindset, positive mind space to go out there.
So Don said humble and human, right? I completely agree, right? And it's not to say that you can't ever have an off day.
Mm-hmm.
But a little sharing goes a long way when you are human and you have the ability to, you don't have to share your whole life, but share enough that's going on in your life that people know that, yeah, hey, Pedro has a bad day too, right? And now's our time to lift him up. That's a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I saw scroll through on the chat was Steve said he's out and he's being seen,
Yep.
right? And
Yeah.
this is a big thing that I learned in the police force, right? That if you sit in your car, you're not going to make a very good cop. And you might stay dry and you might stay warm, but you're not going to know what's going on in the town.
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing what's going on in the town usually results in some sort of accident or incident or situation that you're not prepared to deal with. So, I mean, I'm going to just kind of make that analogy there because I love analogies, but same thing with safety, right? If you're not out looking around and hanging out, and it doesn't have to be, oh, I'm really watching you do this, right?
Right.
It can be you just like hanging out, right? And you can observe things by just hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great way to boost morale.
Yeah. Tanya put negativity can be reframed as unreached potential opportunity. And again, that's one of the biggest things that people being negative.
Steve says you might be cheaper than my current therapist.
Hey, hey, that's what we like to do here. We like to give you value. If you're not getting value from this, then why tune in, right?
Yeah, damn it, Morgan, why aren't you at
Morgan?
work?
To boost morale, talk to the employees about other things too. If you only talk to the employee when they're in trouble, they would treat you like middle school principals. Good, go say hello for no reason. Ask them how their spouse is doing. Ask them how their kids are doing. Get to know them by name, and that's one of the biggest things that people in our profession. Even if you have a small little notebook and you ask everybody their name and you write it down, right? And you study it.
Yep.
Me personally, I like to go out, and I about a month into a project, I know everybody by name, and first name, not just hey you. Granted, you learn people that you don't see all the time, but if you know their name, it now brings them into a more personal state with you. You built that rapport personally to say, hey, I can invite him in and say, hey, I'm having a problem. I'm having an issue.
Yeah, can you help me? Or
Yeah.
what do you think? And Tanya, I agree. Power of vulnerability. One of the things that, I said I was struggling with, over the past year or so is that, I was in a position where people, and I think I even got into a situation today on LinkedIn where people see you as XYZ, right? But if they don't interact with you and they don't see you as you truly are, or they don't, have conversations with you, or they don't see you as vulnerable, they just see you as, Linda Martin with X trophy, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to say, right? Or speaking in front of somebody, they see you as this person, and you're flat. But when you become vulnerable and when you become, um, accessible, right? Which I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people are becoming uncomfortable with when it comes to me, is I've become now accessible, and that makes, it makes for a whole different, dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Being in accessibility, knowing the fact that I have a direct line, I can, get on here, I can shoot you a message and say, "Hey, Linda, help me out." You know, um, but that goes back to the old way of doing things. If you're not willing to be accessible and you're holding all of this knowledge and all of this know-how and experience to not pass it down, or even not even pass it down, just give it to the world so that
Right.
way we all get better. Yeah, I mean, those people
Well,
are slowly but surely going to fade away.
or you're just sprinkling just enough of your knowledge, right, to maintain your position of power and control, which is not a way to live,
Right.
right? If you want people to remember you for doing something positive in your profession, right? And this is something I talked about with Michael Bowman today, is if you want people to remember you, and you want to string let's say your string of Christmas lights through people's lives, you do those positive things and have those positive interactions as often as you can, so that when your light goes out, their light shines,
Yes.
right? And I know that, and Steve, you're going to hate me. I really am going to be your therapist, but I'm free, right? And if it's free, it's for you, right?
Yeah.
Um, but that's kind of how I'm trying to reframe my life is, how do you string enough light bulbs or little Christmas tree lights so that when I'm gone from the profession, people don't say, "Oh, Linda Martin, she was an asshole," or, "Linda Martin, she was XYZ president of whatever," right? I don't want people to say that. I want people to say, "You know what? I have this lesson and I'm going to turn around and give it to somebody else, and I'm not going to control how they use that lesson."
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm going to give them that lesson, and I'm going to show them the point of light, and then let them carry it down their path.
Right. Right. Because again, we all have different paths that we go on, and when we pass that torch, when we're able to give our light to somebody else to then them make their own path and brighten it with their light to then pay it forward and give it to somebody else, that's what we're doing. But if we're, like you said, just sprinkling and giving the least minimalist amount of knowledge and know-how, you're harming the profession, because there's so many people out there struggling right now. There's so many people that have questions and don't know where to turn, that are looking for jobs. I looked on LinkedIn quite a bit, and one of the biggest things that I have seen, especially from safety professionals, open to work, the green circle around
Yeah.
their, that around their profile pic,
Yeah.
and that right there with, granted, yes, some companies downsized, some companies got, did away with that, but there's lots of people in positions in different areas that could help some of our brothers and sisters,
Mhm.
some of the recruiters and recruiting that's going on. Again, they're getting told by the upper echelon, I need a CSP. I need somebody that has all these credentials. And again, credentialing, and that's a whole nother podcast we can get into. But it
I'm
just
not saying a
seems
word.
it just seems that we need to do better
Yeah.
to be able to get them, some work, get them back on the front lines. That's just me. That's my rant.
So, well, I don't think that's a rant. I mean, I think there are a lot of people out there with the open to work, and it's not just lower level people or mid level people. It's everybody, right? I mean, there are CSPs out there with open to work, right? And you know, I try to respond to almost every single person that sends me a message. In fact, I do. Sometimes it takes me a little longer than I'd like. Um, but I'm giving it away, and I know you give it away, and I know several of the people in the chat here give it away, and don't let that one person that's trying to be stingy and sprinkling their energy or their their time or their ability to help you or whatever, don't let them put you off, because for every one person like that, there's at least two um, that even if they give you a little bit, it's a little bit more than you had yesterday.
Yep.
So
Completely agree.
I'm in the Christmas spirit. Can you tell?
Yes.
So I want to scroll back up if I can, Pedro. I saw Morgan Glazer on here, and Glazer. I'm sorry, Glazer, like laser. And she's one of my PhD students, just like Josh Becker is. And when we're talking about morale, this kid, and I'm sorry, Morgan, that I'm calling you a kid, but you're a lot younger than I am. She talks about, I think she said somewhere in here that, just kind of saying hello for no reason or stopping by for no reason. I'm telling you what, if you met Morgan and she walked by where you were working and she stopped to chat with you, you would instantly feel like $1 million. I mean, this is somebody who carries a light with them constantly, right? And so I'm telling you guys, if you want to learn how to light somebody's world on fire, link in with Morgan, right? Because I don't know where she gets her energy, but fantastic for probably morale in her plant.
Nice,
So
Donald.
That's my compliment for Morgan.
Yeah. Donald said, "Develop relationships equals develop trust." That is true. That is so true. Shane said, "I like asking about their trade skills, tasks, and at hand stuff. Helps me learn a little bit more about what they're doing."
100%.
100%. That right there. And then Steve Backdoor said, put the worker first. Never promise anything, but following up with their supervisor. I also always tell them, if you're not working, I am not working.
True. Hey, like Shane said, I am completely fascinated by work that's not my own.
Yeah.
I mean, I like my work. Don't get me wrong. Don't kick me out of the profession. I like my work. But I think one thing that really excites people is when you ask them about what they're doing and they're highly skilled at it, right? That doesn't mean I want to be a welder or a mechanic or a millwright or anything like that. It means I want to understand. And sometimes I've had people turn around and say, why do you ask this dumb safety thing about what I'm doing? And it shows that they're starting to become a little bit interested in why my mind works the way my mind works. So, Shane, absolutely, totally agree with you. I'm fascinated by the work that goes around me.
Scott said, give them the opportunity to give their input and help them find the way to make it safe. Amen.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. Steve Bell said, amen. We all need a listing board. Yeah. And again, if I blast out, when I see a job opening, a job opportunity, I put it out there. I make sure that, I try to, put it all over the place just so that way people can see it.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful skill. Once you have it, it's powerful. Yeah, again, being able to, empower your team.
Shane, I think that's a little dangerous, Shane, that you have all the keys to the equipment and the cranes and everything. That's great.
No, that's awesome. That way I can, if I want to go hang out and I'm inspecting the crane, if I had all the keys, I just go sit in the cab. Yeah, no,
The
it's
guys
good.
at the crane company would not give me the keys. I think that maybe spoke about something. Hi, Jaspin. How are you?
Jasmine, go to employees with questions, not solutions. They're the experts of the task, not you, and that's true. Again, and if you are going to come, with and to that, with a problem, make sure that you bring a solution along with it, because again, adding more problems or more headache to the already problem that they're having, it's not going to do them any good. Bring a solution along with what you're bringing up. So
Sometimes I find that my solution is wrong, Jaspin, when I actually ask about the task and why they're doing it a certain way if I don't understand it. And I come in there thinking I am gonna help them understand what they're doing wrong about this. And if I shut my damn mouth and ask, why are you doing it this way? Or how does that work? Then I realize they've already thought about that, right? And maybe we can come to some kind of mutual solution, but it's not always my way is the right way just because I'm the safety person.
right. Dr. J. Allen said safetynights.com is a great resource for job postings. So I'll leave that up there for a little bit.
Totally
For the
agree. He's doing
website,
some
not
great work.
oh yes. But to that, and asking, knowing when to ask the question of why are you doing it that way. A lot of times, and me, I came up through the ranks from the trades, actually in confined spaces, doing things half-assed sometimes, getting hurt on the job. So I can have a little more respect from the individuals when they're out there, but still trying to see and see where their mindset is at on why they're doing something a certain way or why they're using a certain tool a certain way. And I know it might be wrong. It might be, not correct, but it is the most safest way that they understand and they know. And then after they do what they do and everything is good, I go over there and I say, okay, you did it this way. Why don't we try it next time to do it this way with this added protection or, X, Y, and
hybrid.
Z. Yeah. And they were like, well, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help. I'm a support, system for you guys. So that way you go home and see your families at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, isn't it interesting that a lot of these conversations evolve into communication, collaboration, things. I mean, like these are things that when you're taking your tech courses in safety, right? You're not talking about, instructors don't talk about communication, collaboration, vulnerability, those types of things, right? Engagement a little bit if you're taking some kind of touchy-feely class, but just recently I had somebody say, why are you always talking about this stuff? I said, because everything comes down to how people interact with each other. Now, this, again, my opinion, everything comes at, how the people interact with the work, how the people interact with the equipment, how they interact with the PPE, how they interact with all these different things. But more importantly, how they interact with each other, because nothing gets done safely if nobody is doing those important things: communication, collaboration, etc.
Right. No, Melissa Allen said, always watch how the job is done to see how work is really performed and find all the work arounds that have gotten normalized. Then it's easier to find the problems, weak spots, etc. My life in the tech world as always. So even in the tech world, and see, that's one of the things that, us as safety professionals, it's not only happening in our profession. There's other professions out there inside the tech world, the IT world, you know, to where they're trying to find stuff that's a little bit easier and streamline the process, and they normalize it. But is it the safest? Is it the easiest and safest way to do certain things?
So I
But
think Melissa made a really good point. Can I elaborate on
yeah,
this?
yeah, by all means.
Kudos, Melissa. Here's the takeaway from what I heard you just say. You're not getting mad at me for interrupting you, are you, Pedro?
No, not at all. Not
I'm
at
in the
all.
driver's seat now,
It's
and
good.
I
No,
can't.
it's good.
So here's what I heard you say, Melissa, and I think this just kind of opened my mind to something new that I never thought about. Um, the process of normalization, right? If somebody is doing something and it's not correct, right? Then the people in the tasks next to them are adjusting, right? They're adjusting what they're doing to what this other person is doing, right? And the people on the next tier out from them are adjusting to the adjustments that those people made to the whatever the person is doing in the initial task, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's this whole delicate balance of not just looking at the problem like you're a doctor, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, Melissa, if this is not what you were getting at, but it's not like you're a doctor and you have a tummy ache, right? It's what's causing the tummy ache, and is something pushing on something that's pushing on something that's causing your stomach to hurt. And so I think one of the takeaways as safety professionals that we can take from that is be careful that you're not looking too microscopically at this part of your site or this part of your plant, and you're actually, as part of that process of looking at one thing, that you're also leaving your mind open to see what else it's affecting. Because if you take a scale, right, and
Mm-hmm.
you take a little piece off one part of the scale, it's out of balance. And so we're constantly having to do kind of a balancing act, right? And an
Mm-hmm.
adjustment of the disturbance in the force.
Yeah, no, that I couldn't have said it better.
I don't even know what I just said.
Yeah, no,
Did that make
and
sense to
see,
any of you guys listening?
and from what you just said, Linda, is that the zoom in and zoom out. That's how I look at it. You zoom in on the one task, and okay, we find the solution. Now we zoom out. Where else are we going to find what we just seen other places on the site? Is there a learning opportunity for the entire group? Can we, come together, the next toolbox talk in the morning after the stretch and flex? Hey, this is what I seen throughout, the day. We looked at these few tasks, but keep an eye out because it might end up affecting you, not maybe today, but, a couple of weeks down the road when you start your new task. Hey, guess what? We now looked at that. Jay Allen said, yep, what she said.
Normalized errors go upstream and downstream, and all of a sudden that's how we've always done it or worked around it, and it became normal but not good. Safe, efficient, continuous, improved tech. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I can apply that to like a construction site. And again, Pedro, you're the construction guru, not me anymore. But what always would make for a big pet peeve with me is that people would send the messengers to the safety meeting in the morning. Not everybody does a large toolbox talk where everybody's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so on a big site, and I know some of you guys work on bigger sites like Shane and Donald, and maybe Steve, I'm not sure, but they send the safety representative, right? And that safety representative gets the message from whoever, the GC,
Mm-hmm.
safety person. And then they all go to their areas, and it's like telephone when you're a kid, right?
Yep.
And then, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they tell somebody, and then they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and pretty soon the person who is um welding doesn't know that he's next to somebody who's working with hazardous materials.
Mm-hmm.
Or a high traffic area is next to what we thought was a protected area for welding, which turns out it's not, right? And I mean, that's kind of the same kind of concept, is that we're looking at, oh, these guys will take this back, right? And the message will get there, and everybody will get the message, and we'll all be adjusted to everybody. It'll be so great because we had this safety meeting, and everybody, we saved time, and it sent it out to the masses. And sometimes I think the one big meeting serves a better purpose,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's my
And
opinion.
no, and it's true. Being on, whether you're on a small site or a big site, if you get everybody together first thing in the morning, do your stretch and flex, you give them the safety talk, and this superintendents, foremen, supervisors, frontline workers, everybody is there and they get the same message from whoever the safety person is for the GC, or and what I like to do is I like to incorporate some of the other trades safety persons or their designated safety person to go ahead and give that toolbox talk. Let us learn from you, right? You might be new, 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, whatever it may be. Get out there, give us a safety talk, let us know what you're going to talk about, and then obviously we would hop in and help that person. But it brings everybody together, and then after the safety message, the toolbox talk's done, then the supervisors go see the superintendent and hey, what is the plan of attack? And I like to go over and listen to that as well, so I can get a more in-depth look at what these guys are going to be doing tasks, so that way I know, okay, when I zoom out, I know what I have to be looking for on the floor.
Right. Right. Steve has 42 big facilities. That's a crazy lot of facilities,
That's a lot.
Steve.
Been with them for 19 years. Wow. And Shane said, "Oh no, I have a photographic memory. I do not let people slide out of the toolbox talks." Yeah,
I
and
believe that.
I do too. It definitely, and again, the toolbox talk it's how you start your day off in the morning. If you have a great toolbox talk, if you're able to reach everybody, talk to everybody, and call everybody by name, you see everybody, especially weekend work, people come in, off a Friday or a Saturday, and we're working Sunday. You get to see how they are. Are they inebriated? Are they, under the influence? Are we going to have to send some people home? That type of
Mhm.
stuff. But it's getting everybody in there first thing in the morning. That is your greatest tool and benefit, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, for an overall safety person like you are on a site, I think that's good. But I think it's also good. Um, it's good practice to get people to know that you want them to be paying attention to the people around them, and what's not normal. Um, and to be able to bring that either to that person's attention or to your attention so that they can address it. Um, you know, there have been a lot of times when, I kind of think somebody's off, but they're like, no, no, he's like that all the time. Um, but there could be that one time that you're not seeing it and somebody else is, especially in the case of like mental health or
Mm-hmm.
um, intoxication or hangovers or drugs or those types of things. So I agree with you on that.
Philip Rizzo, what's going on, Phil? He
Hi,
said, "Hi,
Philip.
Pedro. Hi, Dr. Martin. What would you recommend to try to prevent guys on the line, electrical work, from using their per diem money to buy amphetamines that help them work 10 to 12 hours a day?"
So there are a couple things. You want to answer that first, or you want me to say there
No,
are a couple things wrong with
yeah,
that? Uh,
I'll let you.
so there are a couple things wrong with that in the first place. Obviously they shouldn't be doing that, right? But if they're working 10 to 12 hours a day, there's a reason they're working 10 to 12 hours a day. Either there's an understaffing problem, there's a culture problem, there's a company productivity problem. Company is not focusing on the right things. They're focusing on getting the work done and making the money. And as much as these guys are making, even though the company's making money too, there's some kind of push to do that. But um, since I'm not on a site every day, I don't see what people are doing now to prevent these long shift situations that put people in a vulnerable spot. And I think I might have talked to Shane Oliver about this at one point about, people being on long stints and long jobs and long hours, and it becomes the culture.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, in a construction, setting, and I hate to say this, but, just right before the holiday break, we had a big pour, and, I ended up putting in, it was, 17, 18 hours, due to, having concrete cure and then buff it out, got to burn in the hardener and, doing some other things, but and you feel yourself, luckily I'm accustomed to working those long hours, putting in 16, 18, 20 hours sometimes. But you look at the guys that are out there, the gals that are out there that are doing it constantly. They get fatigued so quickly, and then they have to, like Phil said, you have to turn to amphetamines because the Red Bulls and the cigarettes and, the dip isn't working anymore. And that then becomes even more dangerous on a construction site.
Yeah. So the other thing I will add to that, Phil, is I think, on some level in your professional practice, you have to decide what's your ethical and I don't think it's a morality issue, but an ethical issue, professional issue of how far you will go to protect your people and to stand up for them. And so I've been told that my ethical integrity level is very high. In fact, I've put my job on the line several times, and several times been fired for it. And so I would say, on some level, and that changes over time, right? Your ethics and your integrity and whatever, it goes up and down, and hopefully mostly goes up. But how do you prevent them? I think you take a stand, right? Of some sort. You have to take a stand either with the company to reduce the workload and hours, or the company to provide help for these workers to get the services that they need. You also have to be willing to know that when you do put yourself on the line for that, and I'm not really truly not trying to preach to anybody, because everybody's situation is different, but you have to know that this is how far I will go. And sometimes it means me not having a job, but at least calling out unsafe practices and, things that are going to take a company down, take workers down.
Yeah. No,
Maybe that
definitely.
sounds really preachy, but, I apologize for that.
No, it's not. And the fact that you if you are able to fight for the betterment of the workforce, and like Shane said, and we'll get to his comment in a minute, but the C-suite is not understanding what your motive for that and bringing that to light is, right? And again, it's the betterment of the greatest assets that any company has, and that's the workforce. You're trying to prevent injury. You're trying to maintain morale, and again, like Shane said in his 712s ain't no joke. It can be done without dope. Sucks that the C-suite only cares about deadlines, no matter what the cost. Can't go around harassing people with drug tests on a hunch either. But it's never okay to have people on space crack doing high risk activities.
Shane, space crack.
It
sounds dirty.
Yeah, space crack. Thank you both for your insight. Grateful to you for sure. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rizzo. Greatly appreciate it. And greatly appreciate everybody that's been in the chat. Josh said anything over 12 hours has a 28% increased risk of incident.
How do you know that, Josh? Can you type that in the chat, please?
Yes, please. Let us know how you know that, Josh.
That's a pretty obscure thing to know off the top of your head. Actually, Josh is studying fatigue and pilot flight hours
Wow.
and
Okay.
where incidents happen. And Josh, I know you're going to correct me, where incidents happen in a pilot's duty day, and how many hours they've been working and off, and etc. So I'm guessing that he knows that from his research. PhD life. See?
PhD life. Hashtag. And Shane said Michigan is marijuana friendly. Had 3 dispensaries right across the street from the plant.
Sweet.
And yeah, no. And again, if you know, again, if you partake in that, hey, everybody has a life outside of work. If you know, and again, that's where the the restrictions and the guidelines, especially for employers on medicinal marijuana, because again, if your state allows it, somebody goes gets a script for it, they use it medicinally, and I mean, what stipulations do you put in your program to prevent somebody that uses it when they're off of work?
Yeah.
It won't, we won't see that start to change for at least another 3 or 4 years. And that's a whole nother different podcast about smoking pot. Yeah.
You want to talk politics now?
No.
Nobody said we were going to talk politics.
No, negative. I stay away from those types of things. I don't like politics. Not that I don't get into them, but I save those and very reserved. Josh said the increased risk for 5 12-hour day shift is estimated to be a 28% increased incident rate, whereas 5 12-hour night shifts showed a 62% increase in incident. Damn.
Now you're just showing off. Yeah. Shane, I'm kind of with you. I mean, there is a risk of impairment with marijuana. Yes, it does have some medicinal uses. I think it's a real slippery slope on a job site, whether it's, and again, this is all opinion based. There's a real slippery slope on a job site when you start mincing, science with legality and medicinal versus and prescribed versus, illicit, especially when it comes to something that there's such a gray area. And so, I feel like most companies, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but most companies have a no tolerance policy, especially when it comes to high risk activities. In fact, I don't think I've ever come across a company that says it's okay to have a prescription for marijuana, unless, like it's an office job or I don't know.
Yeah, no, and again, that's where a couple of years we'll start seeing where the trends are going, seeing how, it's affected down the road. Josh said, just trying to get people thinking if they are involved in scheduling.
Yeah. Pilots or everybody in general.
I think, yeah.
It's probably like, cut it out, Linda.
Yeah. No, and again, we're at an hour and 5 minutes, and thank everybody that's been in the chat. Everybody that's participated in this great conversation. Again, getting ready to come into December, and I figured why not have the Lorax, Dr. Linda Martin on from the safety struggle. And again, it's one of those, what are we grateful for type, episodes. Great conversation, but in the safety struggle, in my eyes, is finding people that are willing to come on the live stream and But again, we know a lot of people, and it's
I'll
it's
come on your
good.
live stream if you'll come on my live stream.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you one short story. I had my friend John Mulroy on Sunday. Was that yesterday?
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a guest for yesterday. And my wife said to me, "You need to stop having a crutch. Stop having a crutch. You just go on by yourself. Pedro can talk for an hour. You can talk for an hour. Just go on by yourself. Stop having a crutch." Well, then I was on I was on LinkedIn and I saw my friend John like something, and I'm like, well, if he's screwing around on LinkedIn, he can be on my live stream, right? And I called him up. Swear to God, he jumped on his computer and operated like a champ. And so thank goodness for all of you who are game for this connection that we're trying to build here, because again, my favorite thing right now today before December even starts is my friends and family in the profession.
Oh yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And again, without podcasting, without, doing, I probably would have met most of y'all, but doing the podcasting and doing the live stream has actually just opened the doors to network, and have people, and again, like you said early on in the show, you learn from everybody you come in contact with. Sue and Colleen, grateful for meeting both of you. Hey.
Oh, she's dropping in her rigging gear.
Safety on the Fly live stream the other day. To be on at 12. Hey, that's what happens.
And he did, that's true. Shane was the other one that I was like, I ain't got anybody. I probably should have thought about that. And, Shane, you were wonderful as well. So I apologize. Thank you for reminding me that you were the first. You were my first. Oh, that didn't come out right, did it? It's getting late.
Yeah, it is. And Jay Allen said, try a solo show with no script. See how that one works out. LOL.
Yeah. I will, Jay. I'm working up to it.
I mean, I do it every Tuesday, and it's just go with the flow, without a script, without anything, just off the top of your head, what you want to talk about. You have engagement in the chat, and that kind of leads the conversation. If you really have something that you want to talk about, you talk about it that day. Yeah. But usually I leave my fireside chats up to the chat, and I have some play in what we do there.
Yeah.
Donald said, I don't want to see a crane operator making critical lifts after smoking a fatty. I was going to say, he's hotboxing the crane cab.
I haven't heard it called a fatty in a while. A blunt, maybe, but...
A doobie.
A doobie.
I'm just saying. So let everybody that doesn't know who the Lorax and you, Dr. Martin, know where to find you at. Let everybody know all your hashtags, handles. Where do they find you at? Oh,
my gosh. What do people call me? I can't say those on air. You can find me on the Safety Struggle podcast. If you friend me on LinkedIn, you can follow the Safety Struggle, but if you friend me on LinkedIn, I will pop up like Pedro does. If you're friends with him, I pop up in your live stream when I go live. It'll say I'm going live in a few. My email, if you want to email me, is thelorax@safetystruggle.com. I had like a brain fart there for a second. And earlier in the show, I saw Shane said he likes the 3M safety glasses. I love the 3M safety glasses that do the shading, the transition lenses. And I don't know if those are the 300 or 400s that you were talking about. But if you do have some suggestions for favorite things that you want me to shout out on the show and tell me why, send that to thelorax@safetystruggle.com. But you can find me the Safety Struggle I'll talk about your society. So I also have the Soteria Society, with which I started to kind of build rapport between all kinds of different people in the profession, not just the people with certifications, which it always seems like there's some kind of stratification of people, certifications, knowledge, experience, etc. I do really, really, really want to unite the profession, and I think the only way to do that is to make it accessible to people. And like Dr. J. Allen said, the safety nights is a great place to do that as well. But soteriasociety.com, SOTERIA society.com, also has some chat areas, some forums, and there's a LinkedIn page for that as well. So please join us there.
Nice. That was like another hour of just where to find you at. It's fine.
Or you can send me a message on LinkedIn, because I usually respond.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Definitely. No, I greatly appreciate you taking the time out, Doc, for, blessing us with all your golden nuggets and good conversation, getting ready to, hop into December and then the last 31 days of the year.
Let's do this.
So it's definitely going to be interesting, but I look forward to 2021. So everybody knows where to find me at, the X Factor of Safety.com, at the X Factor of everything except for Twitter. Twitter is unique. It's SafetyX_Factor. So you can find me everywhere. If you listen to us on the radio, you listen to us here on the live stream, podcasts, wherever you stream at.
Happy hour.
So, yeah. Don't forget, we have the happy hour. Thank you. Thirsty Thursday happy hour, going with Tiffany Castano from Sefer LLC. She, is also my co-host for Thursday's happy hour. So, again, check out the happy hour. It'll be from 7 to 8 on Thursday. So I'll be putting out something probably tomorrow, refresh it in everybody's mind with the link. So yeah, look forward to seeing everybody there. And again, Doc, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate your time. So without further ado, we are done for tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Pedro.
No, not a problem. Thank you. So good night to everyone in the chat. Ask yourself that one question. What is your X factor? Until next time, we'll see you later.